session for day 2 at TSS 2021 is a riveting fireside chat on the topic Leading with Purpose. Joining us are two eminent leaders par excellence. Ms. Manna Dabholkar, CEO at GIFT Global Initiative, in conversation with Mr. Kali Prasad Gadiraju, Chairman and MD at Qubit AI Technologies Private Limited, who will also be the moderator for this session. Thank you for joining us, and over to you, Mr. Gadiraju.
Thank you very much for this introduction. And then, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good evening to all the participants, wherever they are, wherever you are. Welcome to this exciting session with a very charismatic leader, Ms. Manna Dabholkar. And the topic today for discussion is leading with purpose. And we see very few people in this world who are as successful as Manna Dabholkar, who are focused on leading with purpose and serving the society. Before we get on to have discussion with her, let me first introduce her profile to you. Manna Dabholkar is the CEO of GIFT Global Initiative, former COO for the American Red Cross and director for Round It Up America. After leading one of the most prestigious organizations, American Red Cross, for about 5 years, her desire to be in the trenches and just to bring humanitarian relief to socially disadvantaged families and make the planet a safer place for our children led her to GIFT Global Initiative, a diplomacy organization that empowers children and families affected by violence, trafficking, and exploitation. Today, under her vision and leadership, GIFT serves over 10,000 children every year and has launched several programs such as GGI Works, that is for Jobs and Entrepreneurship Initiative, Renewable Energy, Education, etc. Manna was appointed as the global representative for the Royal Family Private Office, UAE, for all matters pertaining to trade, commerce, and humanitarian initiatives. She also serves as a global envoy to various private family offices in the Gulf and Asia and works closely with socially conscious venture capital funds to give a platform to new and exciting companies with a social impact vision. Her work in prison reform and mental health led to her appointment as a commissioner to oversee human rights violations in the prison system in US. With over 2 decades of leadership experience, Manna stands at the intersection of purpose and profit and believes that sustainability can only be achieved through proactive public-private NGO partnerships that invests in prevention with a singular goal, empowerment and independence. That is a small, very brief introduction about Manna. It is my pleasure to have the opportunity to discuss with her in today's topic on leadership with purpose. So Manna, thank you for joining us. And I would like to ask a few questions, which I hope you will be able to, at least I think I won't put you in any confusing questions. So my first question was actually, of course, your profile also indicated, when you had the choice to be a successful professional and leading an easy and luxurious life, why did you choose a difficult and challenging social service sector to be in the social service side? So if you could just elaborate on your own words, it will be useful for the audience.
Well, good morning from LA, and thanks for having me. That's a great question, and I cannot tell you how many times I've been asked that, not just by people who not just by strangers, but also by my own family. So the real answer to that lies in understanding your values, and it took me some time. I had a great job at the American Red Cross. I loved my job. I loved the people at the Red Cross. But even then, there was something that was missing. And I couldn't understand why I was unhappy. I couldn't understand what was going on when you have a high-paying job, everything looks perfect for you. What I realized was I was missing the action. I was missing out being in the trenches and experiencing the good work that American Red Cross does. I was stuck in the office 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., crunching numbers, fundraising, things that do not excite me. What excites me is being out there, experiencing relationships with children, with families that we help. And it took me some time to come to that realization. And I think once you understand what your real values are, what your core values are, it becomes a lot easier to really attract opportunities in your life which are perfect for you. And your core values are different for every person, right? For me, money wasn't the issue. What I was lacking was the adventure. And what I was lacking was the experiences that I wanted to have. And once I figured that out, I knew that empowering, healing, helping, that will come with it. It will give me opportunities to experience all that once I quit Red Cross and go into the field and do what I was meant to do. And I think part of that also comes from being raised in a family. My dad was also a public servant. He was in social work, and when all the other kids were playing, we used to go with him in these slums and really poor neighborhoods where he would sit down with the families and eat with them, understand what their needs were. And as a child, I didn't understand what he was doing, but now looking back at that really paved the way for what I'm doing today. I'm doing exactly what he was doing all those years ago.
So the social service is in the blood. You inherited that.
I would like to think so.
So even American Red Cross itself is a in the social service sector, and now after, of course, that you started this Gift Global Initiative and then Global Health Project, and then you're doing so many this prison reform on mental health, but so many activities. In addition to that, now you're also ambassador to the royal family offices on various matters. So in all these things, you're constantly, I think you are managing all of them simultaneously. It's not one after another. So one is that how do you manage your time to look at so many aspects of that so many organizations and will be able to perform well at all these places. And secondly, what is the core? What is the core in all these things? Is there any common thread across all these activities that you're doing?
You just answered your question. In all these things that I'm doing, there's one common theme to it. There's one core, which is providing families with a hand up in life. So it's not about giving out free things or entitlements. What I really want to do for these families is make them independent so they don't have to rely on you or me or government or any other NGO. You don't want to keep working with the same families year after year. You want to bring them opportunities and see them grow and provide for their own families. And everything that I do, whether it's with the UN, whether it's working with the private offices, the venture capital funds, with GIFT, whatever I am doing, the end goal is really empowering people. It's bringing them opportunities that they can use to provide for their own children, protect their own kids and families, and they don't have to rely on others to be able to do that. Which is why it's easy. It's easy to go from doing one thing to the other because it all fits right into the puzzle.
Yeah, quite a tough task. It's not easy to manage. There's so many diverse activities, and then maybe not necessarily in one country. I think you are again doing all of them across the globe. And but you've been doing these things for many years now. So what is the ultimate goal? Like what kind of impact you want to create, and by doing what, maybe what, by achieving what, you feel that your purpose in life has been achieved? Do you feel that you are satisfied that I have created this kind of impact in the society, and my life has been, experience has been fulfilling? So what would make or what will give you that kind of feel that you have done something, really good, and you are happy with what you have done?
That's a tough question. I think, I believe that I don't have a goal, but what I do have is I do have a path. And the path is to be of service, is to help and heal, to empower human beings, animals, especially children and animals, because, anytime something goes wrong in this world, animals and children are the most affected because they're the most vulnerable population. So I think more than calling it a goal, I would like to think of it as my path. And it all started, I got a chance to share with you the other day. About 15 years ago, I was volunteering to fundraise for nonprofits who were going out to rescue human trafficking victims. And they like to call them survivors. So on one of those, I'm a lawyer, so I asked a lot of questions, and I wanted to see what they were doing with the money that I was raising. So I found myself on a trip, a police raid, not in the US, it was overseas. And they were going into this brothel to rescue children. Well, at that point, I thought it was going to be women or men, 17, 18, 16. And this was many years ago, so my understanding of human trafficking was very little. So we go into this place and we found 3- and 4-year-old babies. And these little children were groomed into trafficking. They were, they were abused, exploited day after day. And when these children grow up, they think that prostitution and trafficking is the only way forward for them. So when I experienced that was a life changer for me, an eye opener, because I realized that what most nonprofits do is they put a lot of money, a lot of resources in providing transitional aid. They put a lot of resources in providing help when something happens, right? If there's a disaster, we all want to donate to it. If child is kidnapped, we all want to donate to it. But no one is really thinking about, at least at that point, no one was thinking about prevention. No one was saying, okay, there are a lot more families and children who are not going through this, but they still live in neighborhoods which are controlled by cartels. So how about we get into those communities and run preventive programs which could avoid that situation? That's what we do. That's how GIFT came about, is we are very preventive. We are proactive. We go into neighborhoods where children may be affected by trafficking, but there are a lot more kids who are not. They're just poor. Their families don't have the resources. So bringing them those resources became a path for me. And I think that is more empowering. And again, there's no goal, but there's definitely a path which is to empower people.
That's great. Excellent. So in all these activities, doing great service to the society at large, not only in one country, across the globe. And in all these activities, where do you think that those activities will have maximum impact on the sustainability? Because this conference is about sustainability. So What is the link between the sustainability and all the work that you're doing? How do you address that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And again, as I said to you, everything we do is based on prevention. And we run certain programs which are the philosophy behind GIFT is give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime, right? That's sustainability. The aim of GIFT is to provide full-time employment across this community. So we run programs not just for the children, but also for the mothers, because in most cases, these are single moms. The fathers are nowhere to be found. So what we do is we provide them training, vocational training, teach them coding, teach them computers, teach them sewing, stitching, whatever they can use to create a small business for themselves and provide for their families. We teach them how to bring those products out in the market, how to create their own little, whether it's selling chickens or selling dresses or whatever it is that works for them. But to really create an income stream where they don't feel that they have to subject themselves to exploitation to provide for their children. So GGI Works, you mentioned that program is one such program. It creates employment in these poor neighborhoods. We also have Sports for Solar, which is a renewable energy program where the children are trained on a popular sport throughout the year. And then twice a year, we have annual sporting events. And the children come together, about 500 to 1,000 kids come together on one single day. They play that sport, they compete, and they go home. Instead of going home with a plastic trophy, they go home with solar lights, bringing light to their families for the very first time. And now you might wonder what a light would, because we take light for granted. But a lot of these families have no light, no water, no sanitation. So how do you expect them to do better in life? How do you expect a woman who's trying to run her own business to do that if there's no light? There's no basic things like shelter, water, food. That's what we do. We provide them those resources so they can create their own small business, they can create their own employment, and that's how they grow. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of the fact that we are so proactive in creating employment, making sure that these women don't have to rely on outside sources.
You must be aware that TIE itself does a lot of work in this area, and we have two programs. One is like TIE Women, where we promote entrepreneurship amongst women. That we believe that in many sections of society, particularly in the rural areas, if women are entrepreneurs, the family is stable, they do the business very well and they run the businesses very well. And they can be the main, the breadwinners for the family. And we inculcate, we promote entrepreneurship among women. Second program also we have called the TIE Access, wherein we are trying to again promote entrepreneurship among us the underprivileged sections of society. Some sections of society, even in US, they don't have enough opportunities or maybe support systems to become entrepreneurs. So we are running some programs. A lot of chapters in US are running a lot of programs to encourage and support the entrepreneurship among us the underprivileged sections of society there, and maybe the Black communities to a large extent. And in India, also a lot of we have Dalits and other sections which are not really taking up entrepreneurship. We are trying to provide access to these people of all the whatever TIE represents in terms of fostering entrepreneurship and mentoring them, networking with them, providing education to them, and even providing funding to them. We do every activity to support entrepreneurship. So what is your message to the audience who are, most of them are all entrepreneurs, and if they want to take up entrepreneurship in the social service sector, which of course, a part of the sustainability comes from the social service side. So in this sector, in addition to sustainability, and if they want to focus on social service, and what do you think are the opportunities where the lot of entrepreneurs can take up activities and can build social impact organizations?
I have two messages for people who are trying to lead a life not defined by outside forces, which is what entrepreneurs are, right? They go against the society because they believe in their idea. I would like both young men and women to remember that change is inevitable, but sustainable change is never achieved overnight. And change is a very scary thing for most, and it never happens without any kind of resistance. There's always going to be resistance from outside. About 100 years ago, women couldn't vote in the United States. And today we have more women who ran for office than ever before. So I think my advice to younger change makers, I look at entrepreneurs as change makers, is to be patient and be yourself. Do not allow anyone to define your thinking. Question the old ways of doing things and pave the way for a futuristic society that is rooted in social giving and empowerment of the less fortunate. And most importantly, stand up for a cause that is bigger than yourself. Because you know what? Leading with a social cause is going to get your company, get your business out there quickly. Just look at all the other examples that we have around you. You have Nike, you have Tom Shoes. These companies led with a social cause. They said, buy a shoe, we give a shoe. Very simple philosophy. You don't know if they're giving a shoe, but it makes the customer feel great. So just by leading with a social cause, you are allowing your consumer base to expand. You're going to have new markets, new customers real quick. You're going to retain your customer loyalty. You're going to engage your customers just by aligning yourself with a social cause. And we get it that you're not in the business of, doing what Give does, right? You're not out there in the field giving out things. Partner with the right grassroots level nonprofit that can do the logistics for you. You don't have to be out in the field and do it. There are a lot of wonderful organizations like Give who do the work. We just need partnership from the private sector, from the public sector. And the minute you align yourself with with a social cause which is close to your heart, it could be anything. You'll retain your employees. Your employees will be much more happier working for organizations who have that. Your ROI will increase. Your shareholders will be happy. I'm telling you, just try this. This is a new way of doing things, but it works. Align your company with a social cause that is really close to your heart and see how it works for you.
That's great. Actually, if you have time, please do join us tomorrow at 9 o'clock, where we are giving away social service, social sector awards. We have received so much of, in fact, inquiries, or a lot of people wanted to get recognized. So we have looked at almost like I think 6,000 social enterprises.
You have received inquiries from people wanting to get recognized. Is that what you said?
Because this is a huge forum on sustainability. There are lots of people across the globe. They are doing a lot of work in various areas, and they want to see that how they would like to maybe network with other people there, and even get recognized. It's important for them because only when the public knows what they're doing, and then they'll be able to reach out to them, and they do much better job there. So that's the reason why they contacted us, and we did a lot of research. And tomorrow we are giving 5 different types of social sector awards, enterprise awards, entrepreneurship in the social sector. And it will be fascinating to see so many people are doing so much of a great work in rural areas, in the in sanitation areas, lots of areas, unimaginable. And they're not only in India. We are just looking at across the globe.
Yeah, and Kali, that's what I mean by saying that companies need not always have to donate to a large corporate nonprofit. You just don't, because half of your money you won't even know what's happening with it. And I ran big nonprofits. I can promise you that. Go for smaller grassroots level nonprofits who you see doing the work out in the field. Because if you really care about creating an impact, that's the way to go. If you care about branding yourself with a big name, that's a different thing, right? We can talk about that later. But if you really care about creating an impact, align yourself with a nonprofit who's really doing good work. Doesn't matter how big or small they are.
Yeah, that's precisely. I think that's what we are trying to do. In fact, we have also promised that we will raise 15 crores worth of funding, more of a grant money for the enterprises who are doing innovation in rural areas. the country, in India, if we have to really transform the country, we need to transform the rural areas. And the people who are actually building a lot of innovative products, innovative way of doing things in these areas, we should recognize them and maybe support them. And many times, many of those models may not fit for a VC or angel to look at a proper ROI for his investment there. So that's what we are trying to do is provide grant money to those people there. Identify the great ideas, identify the great teams who are doing really some good job in the rural area, and then grant them. So we are doing a lot of these things from time. So it will be, I think, a great opportunity for us to maybe continue to be in touch and see we are doing so much work and how we can align our ties vision in some areas to areas where you are working. And maybe
I'm very passionate about creating venture capital funds. This is something you can keep in mind because you interact with so many people. But venture capital funds who are socially conscious, meaning they fund companies that have a social impact initiative built into their mission statement, or maybe their core product or service provides some kind of social product, socially conscious product or service. So just keep in mind that we are working on venture capital funds, creating funds which would fund companies who are socially conscious, who are leading with a mission that is for more than just making money.
Yeah. In fact, we already raised, a part of the fund already. Some corporates already committed, and we are reaching out to maybe a few more bigger corporations. We would like to also contribute to that grant money that we want to give it to the rural areas.
Amazing.
Maybe
Amazing.
Your connects, maybe your contacts might help us in terms of reaching out to the right people who would like to also contribute to the this kind of a mission. So thank you very much, Manna, for your great session. And Sati, over to you. You have any questions?
No. Go ahead, Kali. I am not. Yeah, go ahead.
Sati, you're muted. You're muted. If you want to close that, maybe.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I think. Thank you, Manna. Thank you for your time and for your ideas. We want you to work with us in terms of guide us in a lot of activities that we are doing, and we will keep this association going forward in future. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Anything that you're doing for women entrepreneurs as well, let me know. I'll be very interested in connecting on that. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Bye.